What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 3 of the Turn in Place add-on series. In today's episode, we're going to fix a few things that we didn't go over in the last video. We're going to set up our aim offset animations using the idle animation to add more motion to the turn. We're going to get the anim graph finished up and have the base system set up. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the community Discord. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is change our max turn in place angle. We need to go to our turn in place function to set that. Just go ahead and open up your animation blueprint. Just go down to your variables down here, max turn in place angle. We're going to set the default value of this to 45. The reason we're setting this to 45 is in the animation curves, when I set those, the curve starts at -45. Basically, it's going to give us at 45 degrees of our capsule turning is when the animation is going to kick in. So now that we got that set, let's go to our anim graph. We need to go into the locomotion. And once you open up your locomotion state, we want to be where the idle with turn and idle without turn is. What we need to do is change these greater than, we need to set those to equal to, or not equal, sorry. So that way, if our forward and our side input is not equal, then it will go ahead and do our turn. Just kind of clean this stuff up a little bit, just something I'm overlooked last time. Now that we have that set, basically what we need to do is work on our offsets. You can go ahead and check this out if you'd like. We'll go ahead and test it, see how it's doing. So now if you notice, when you turn slightly, it's not doing the turn animation anymore. Now it waits till you get to 45 degrees from the center point with the capsule before it turns. So when we add in the aim offset, so basically kind of where he's sliding here when you barely turn before he does the turn animation, we're going to set it to where the upper body starts to turn in that direction. So basically kind of lean in the direction that you're turning. So that you don't have this slide, you've got some upper body motion that goes with that. You can always adjust the aim, that turn in place angle, to whatever value is going to work best for your animations. You can set it to 35, just kind of play around with it, figure out what works best for you, and get it set to that. So let's see here. So what we need to do, we can go ahead and close out our animation blueprint. We're going to go into our animations folder. We're going to find our idle. So let's type in idle, and I believe it's default. Yeah, idle default. So what we're going to do here is we're going to duplicate this 4 times. So Control D, Control D, Control D, Control D. Duplicate that 4 times. And then we're going to name these AO up, AO down, AO left, AO right. If I can type. Alright, so then if you search for AO, it should bring up all this. You can go ahead and we'll start with the left first. Alright, so we want to go ahead and pause our animation. It's not really doing anything, but we want to pause it. Let's drag it back to frame 0, starting frame. We're going to go to our skeleton tree over here. We're going to grab spine 01. So, and then get your rotate tool. If you don't have that, you can get that by pressing E on the keyboard. And this one is our left, so we're going to want to turn to our left. So just grab your red one, turn to your left a little bit. And then we're just going to add the key. Now you can adjust like the neck position, head position, all that stuff by doing this. And it's going to add this key down here onto that bone. So it's basically changing the position of that bone. These are going to be additive animations. So once you get that set, we'll go back to our assets details. Go down to your additive settings here. We're going to do mesh space. Leave this. We'll go, I think, frame from this animation. No. Selected animation frame is what we need to set that. And then for our animation, we're going to do idle underscore default. And then we can click save, and that one's ready to go. So let's go ahead and do that for the other three. We'll grab our right, pause, drag that back to frame 0. Skeletal tree. We're going to go to spine 01. And we're going to turn this one to the right. And we're going to add our key. And you can adjust this. If you go too far to the right, you can adjust this. If you've already added your key, go ahead and adjust it and just add the key again, and it'll replace the key that you did. So if you mess it up, it's not a big deal. You can always replace it. And then asset details, we're going to set the additive settings again. So mesh space, selected animation from frame, idle default, and save that one. And let's go ahead. We'll work on the up or the down. Sorry. Do the down first. I don't know why this stuff keeps opening on my second monitor. So aggravating. All right. So our down. This is what I said. If you want to adjust things differently, you can. So for our down, we're going to get our blue. We're just going to look down. And we're going to add a key. Mesh space for the additive settings. And then selected animation frame. Idle default. Go ahead and save that. And then we're going to do our up. Pause, drag back to the first frame, go to the skeleton tree, spine 01. Grab our blue one. We're just going to rotate him to where he goes up. Now this one, obviously he's not going to look straight if he's looking up, so you can adjust the head if you want. I know we're going through these pretty quick and it's not very clean. I just want to show you guys how to do this so that you know how to do it. So, you know, you can always adjust the head as well. And as you see, that's going to add in a key line for the head as well as the spine. So you can do multiple bones, adjust things the way that you want. Like I said, I know we're going through this pretty quick, but I just want to show you guys how to set this up. You guys can take the time to get them set up the way that you want them once we get the tutorial completed. So idle default, and then we're going to save that. So now we should have down, left, right, and up. So now we want to go back into our animation blueprint, and we're going to go to the main state. So go ahead and click on your anim graph. We're going to go to our main state here. So now we're going to be outside our main state. We're going to be in the main anim graph is where we need to set this up. First, we do need to set a aim offset. So go ahead and open up your controller, or over here, blueprints. I've already got it set up here. Let's see, but I'll go ahead and delete that and we'll set that up again because I think that's messed up because I deleted stuff from the last time. All right, so delete that. We're going to right click. We're going to go to animation, aim offset. We're going to select our skeleton. Yes. Or actually, no, put AO turn. So aim offset for the turn. All right, so we're going to set this up a little bit different than we normally do for our root motion. So the horizontal axis, we're going to name that horizontal angle. And we're going to set it to -90 and 90. 4 grid divisions still, snap to grid. And then we're going to do vertical angle on the vertical axis, which is not a big deal. This is just going to control our AO up and our AO down. And then we're going to snap the grid on that as well. And you just type AO in here. We're going to do AO down. It's going to go at the bottom. AO up is going to go at the top. AO left at the left. AO right at the right. So now when we do these, it's going to look up, going to look down, going to look left, going to look right. Basically turning. So as long as you're doing this correctly, then you should be good to go. If it's not letting you add your animations in, you mess something up on the additive settings, it will not let you do an aim offset without the additive settings being set up. So if you can't add your animations in, go back a few minutes, redo your additive settings that we did in adjusting the keys and stuff in the animation. So once you got that done, we're going to drag our aim offset turn in. And we're going to go ahead and connect this between our main and our root bone. Our rotate root bone. Horizontal angle. We're going to get the root yaw offset. We're going to multiply by -1. And we can connect that straight to the horizontal. So our root yaw offset is going to adjust our turn for our horizontal. And we want to get our forward input, side input. And we're going to do not equal for both of these. We want to do a select node. And this is just going to be for the up and down. If you don't want to add the up and down in, you don't necessarily need to set the vertical angle. All right, let's move this back. We need an OR off of these, so OR Boolean. Plug both of those in. And we're going to plug this to the index. That's going to change that from a wildcard to a Boolean index. And then we need to create a variable. And we're going to call this pitch and change this to a float. And we're going to go ahead and drag our pitch in, get our pitch. And we're going to drag that to the false. And we're going to leave the true to 0. And then we're going to connect this to the vertical angle. Should be able to compile and save that. Let's go ahead and test that out. Now, as you see, when you turn, he starts to do that kind of turn motion. Actually, no, something's not right here. Okay, let's take a look at this. All right, something else that we missed on your root bone motion, go ahead and untick clamp results on this. Our pitch isn't working, but it looks like we're turning with the other animations, but there's something that's not right. All right, so something we did forget. So go into your event graph. We need to set our pitch. That's what we forgot to do. That's why it's not working correctly. All right, so off of our character reference node, we're going to drag off and we're going to get base aim rotation. And then we want to get the actor rotation as well. I do delta rotator, plug the base aim rotation into A, get actor rotation, it's going to go in the B, and then we're going to split the struct on this, and then our pitch, we're just going to promote. Well, we don't need to promote that. We can go ahead and set our pitch, and we can plug our pitch pin into the pitch set. Go ahead and compile that and save. Now let's test that out. There we go. Now we got our pitch working. As you can kind of see, my aim offset for the turn left and right, I mean, it's very subtle. It's not very noticeable, but it prevents you from sliding. So now your feet aren't sliding when you're turning. It allows you to at least look until you get to that 40-degree angle without your feet sliding. So that's the main objective. You can adjust your animations to where it's a little bit more noticeable. But that's the main objective, is to keep our feet from sliding before we turn. It just doesn't look right. So, but I mean, you've got look up and look down, and look left and look right. Like I said, you can adjust the head, the neck bones, all that stuff. And that'll just kind of help improve the animation overall. Last thing I want to do, we're going to go ahead and go in here. We're going to highlight all these. We're going to right click and we're going to collapse the nodes, and we're going to call this turn in place. All right, and then go ahead and add the set, drag the set to the output here, and that'll add an output pin so that we can connect other stuff on the end of that. So now when we go back to our event graph, it should have an output pin on it. Then we can comment this, turn in place, so that we know what that is. Color. And then I'm also going to show the bubble on zoomed, just so I know that's where the turn in place is at. And eventually we'll collapse all of our variables here. And then also let's go ahead and set up our turn in place category so we can clean this up. So turn in place. Just click on one of the ones that's in the turn in place variables, name the category turn in place, and then we're just going to drag all these up into turn in place. And our character reference should be the only thing that's left. So we got all of our movement stuff. It's set in our movement. All of our turn in place variables are set in our turn in place. So, and you can mess around with like your blend space transitions, the how much smoothing's in your blend space for your aim offset, mess around with your transitions on your state machines, in between your turn and going back into idle. A lot of different things you can kind of adjust. Just play around with things, see what works best, what looks best to you. Um, I'm just trying to help get the base system set up so that way you guys have something to go off of to figure out what's going to work best for your game. I'm not going to have a solution to every problem. I'll try my best to help you out. If you have an issue, if you're trying to do some type of modification other than what I've shown in the tutorial, I'll do my best to help you out. Can't make any promises. Quite a few other people in the Discord that will help you. So if you have any questions, by all means, join the Discord, hop in there, chat with us. We talk about other stuff too. We don't just talk about the tutorials. So feel free to join us there. We're going to wrap this video up here, and next video we will go ahead and set up our turn in place for our crouch. I will show how to add the curves to the crouch animations, since we didn't do that for the normal turn in place animations. So I want to show you guys how to set the curves on those, so you know how to set the curves. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the like and subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.